to our new YouTube channel that's called
Tabor's
Trendy
DIY.
Crafts.
And so for our first video series of this new channel, we are going to give you a project called a stained glass sampler afghan that Miss Jennifer Tabor had the idea to create to help you all go from zero crochet or beginner crochet knowledge to intermediate. So we can share some of our favorite projects over the past years that we have done and also modified patterns to have different outcomes. So depending on the person we were making it for. So we want to share with you in not too long of a video an introduction to this project so you can get ready to come along with us on the first video and begin improving and learning and improving your crochet stitches.
We also hope to show you some of our similarities and differences, because as much as we are alike, of course we have differences, and that we have that with crocheting, and possibly we'll show you some knitting. When we were first starting to learn crocheting and knitting and cross stitch and things like that, Stephanie crocheted more and I knitted. I thought I liked knitting more. I didn't think I liked crocheting, but when we picked this back up, she was teaching me, because Mom taught Stephanie because she was interested in it. So she taught Stephanie about crocheting and taught me about knitting. But I started crocheting and I see why she also enjoys crocheting. I like it too. So I would call myself more of a beginner to intermediate in my crochet, and I would call Stephanie more intermediate advanced in her crochet. So I'm excited about this afghan pattern because I might finish my first afghan with her help. And so, because I've started afghans, but I haven't finished them. And then also, I'm going to hopefully improve my skills along with you guys. And then there's also a pattern that I've created that Stephanie doesn't know, so she's hoping to learn that. So we hope you guys will be able to learn and strengthen your skills and techniques with us.
All right, and so the first block that you guys are going to make is the single crochet block, okay? The second block you're going to make are singles and adding in alternating rows of half doubles. So we'll take you to the half double crochet. Then we'll take you to the double, oops, wrong one. Then we're going to take you to the double crochet stitch. And then from the double crochet stitch, we're going to take you to some techniques. So the first technique we may take you to in this block is using what's called stitching in or crocheting in front loops and back loops, which creates a different texture. All of these blocks have different textures in mind. And then take you to double crocheting, keeping along double crocheting stitches and with a different technique that creates a weave pattern. So, which is a technique called crocheting around the back post and front post of stitches. So you're going to have lots and lots to work with, play with, and of course learn. And then this next one is a mesh pattern or waffle pattern crochet, which we're going to teach you the technique of adding in spacing and chaining in between stitches. So, and then I'm going to let my sister name.
And then this one, the difference on it that creates a wave, and why I used a variegated yarn so that you could see that, is because it goes from single to double crochets back to single crochets. And then on the second row, you reverse that so it will still keep a square. And all of these are done in rows. And then
the next one is going back just to double crocheting and teaching another technique that creates the popcorn stitch or puff stitch. You'll see both of those terms and patterns And so this will give you lots of practice with the puff stitch and popcorn stitch.
And that's a stitch I haven't used yet. So.
And it's one of the first afghans that I completed was with this stitch. And what we want to do is in future video projects show you guys some of our favorite projects, from our favorite afghans to our favorite toys to our favorite clothes and favorite small projects, items like bookmarks to dishcloths and hair ties, all kinds of small projects. We've got lots planned for this YouTube channel, and we hope you guys will like it, subscribe to it, so we can share all of this with you.
And then the last square we're going to show you is a granny square. And our older sister would say this one was actually possibly easier than the rows, because what happens in a row is you can lose a stitch or gain a stitch, and then it ends up not a square anymore. So we're going to help you hopefully improve that and help you be able to do squares and hopefully not get frustrated, so that you can also be able to do this in rows. And then this is a granny square, and we're doing it last because it goes away from rows and it becomes a circle, yet it becomes a square. And I also teach math, and so that's an interesting concept to say I start as a circle and I become a square. So,
and if you are even an intermediate to advanced crocheter already, and you just like this idea and this idea for an afghan, then please also join with us in making this project. And in the end, we are choosing another color, black, to crochet all the blocks together in forming our afghan in 3x3 squares, so 9 block squares. And then if you want to make this 3 stained glass windows by 3 stained glass windows in length, then you'll want to make 9 of each block. So that will give you lots of practice with each of these stitches. Okay.
And if you
techniques.
And if you feel that an afghan is just overwhelming and too big of a project, depending if you're a beginner, we hope you'll come along still with us on this to learn these skills and techniques and stitches, and you can create dishcloths. And homemade dishcloths, if you've never used them, are awesome. So I hope that you will come along and do at least a dishcloth with us with each block, or the whole afghan, or maybe you start each one with a dishcloth, and then if you like it, you can choose to create the afghan with us as well. And so you can be so creative in this, and that's what's happening to us now. We're at the point of our creative juices really flowing and changing this up. If there's some of these blocks you like, some you don't like, you can make more. Really, you can be as creative as you want with your stained glass window afghan. And then a couple things you need to bring with you to the first video series is, of course, a tape measure. These are 6x6 inch blocks roughly, and I'll share with that on our first video about frustrations of them not coming out 6x6. And then scissors, of course, and then 2 crochet hooks if you can. We're crocheting these with a 5.5mm hook, and I'm also going to bring along a 6mm hook, and I'll tell you why in the first video. And with that said, the reason I'm using a little bit larger hook is, to me, if you're just starting out, it's easier to catch the yarn with a bigger hook than it is a small hook. I have been able to start on some bookmarks, and it's very thin yarn and very small hook, and that's a little bit frustrating, but the bookmark's going to be worth it.
Also, with the larger hook, these squares won't have to have so many rows in them, and it will go quicker. If you use a smaller hook, you'll have more rows and more time consuming. So this should be a basic to intermediate crocheter in mind. We really hope that you will enjoy this.
And maybe even an advanced crocheter will enjoy it.
Well, that's why I mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah.
About
Right,
the
you're gonna
advanced
mention the
crocheter
yarn, right?
is welcome to do this project if you just like our style and our pattern.
That's it. I'll let you introduce the yarn.
Okay, so two last materials, well, not two, but one last material that you need is the yarn. So we are recommending that you use a worsted 4-weight, medium weight acrylic yarn for your afghan. And then again, my sister mentioned once about you can choose less colors, you can choose more colors. It's really up to you and your preference, or if you have a person in mind that you are wanting to make this for in the end and give it to, then you may think of that person as well. We chose the colors with a specific person in mind. We have a student who has some sensory issues, and he actually likes lots of colors and lots of textures. And so that's why we, in particular, made this array of textures and colors, is because we have in mind to give it to a student, and we hope he will be thrilled with it, and hope he watches our channel too.
He saw us crocheting and he said, "Can you make me an afghan?" So we're finally getting around to that. And I'm going to I'm going to show you a dishcloth in each one of these because I'm interested in how these all come out as a dishcloth. And I'm going to use this variegated 100% cotton yarn if you're making a dishcloth that you need to use. And I'm interested in how using all the same variegated yarn, these different stitches and techniques may look on a variegated.
The reason for using 100% cotton for a dishcloth is because it's in water a lot. An afghan shouldn't be washed a lot, but it can be washed. It's machine washable, and it tells you that on the labels of your yarn, how to care for it. But with 100% cotton, it will hold up for a lot of water and uses with washing your dishes. So it is important to think of which project you have in mind for the ultimate outcome as to which yarn to use.
And we also hope to bring along our older sister and our mom on some of these videos too, to share some things that they're learning as they're going. And our mom also taught us when we started back crocheting more again right after college and early career. She taught us as we were picking out our yarn that there is a lot number. Now this solid color orange says no dye lot on it. That means it doesn't matter. I can just grab this and go. If you need more than one skein, which you probably will need at least 2 skeins, but you can wait on that. But on the variegated one, there's a lot number. And if you don't pay attention to the lot number, then you may end up with a different variation of that color. So like the oranges may vary like in shades of color. But this one, the good news is no dye lot number. I don't have to worry about that. But I do with the variegated.
And then if you just have yarn laying around your house that you don't know what project you want to use it for, then this would be a great project. It could be with all your little scraps of yarn around, and it's really up to you, which is what's fun about this project. There's a lot of flexibility with this project. And with each video, we will share some personal experiences, and hopefully you'll enjoy those personal experiences. And then our future hopes of the projects I mentioned, from our favorite afghans to toys to small projects to clothing. We really hope that we can share some of our funny stories through that. And the video of knitting versus crocheting, I have a really funny story to share with that as well. And I've gotten the people who are involved in that story, I have asked their permission first before we videotape those and put it out for the world to see. We have asked their permission if it's okay to share those because we don't want to embarrass anyone.
And then Stephanie's left-handed and I'm right-handed, and she's learned to crochet right-handed because for her, as long as something's in both hands, it doesn't necessarily matter which one's dominant in moving. But our mom, our whole family, immediate family, is right-handed. So mom tried to think of how to teach her left-handed, but it was way easier to just teach her what she knew right-handed. And so she may take on the challenge, especially if any of you guys have a question on crocheting left-handed. She may pick that challenge up. And so we hope that you will like, subscribe, comment, give us feedback on things you'd like to see on our YouTube channel, any questions you have. Helping you improve reading patterns is going to be Stephanie more than me. And so I'm just very excited that our older sister had this idea. I'm excited to maybe complete an afghan finally, and all the textures and colors I love. And so thank you. Please subscribe, please like, and comment below. We'll see you soon.
Say action, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, action.
All right, welcome to our first video series of our Tabors. Trendy. I thought we were alternating the words.
Oh.
That's okay. We can
Let's
just keep
start
going.
again.
Just keep going.
All right,
go.
Hello. Welcome to our.
Wait a minute.
Okay, let's try 10.
We'll redo it. Let's redo it.